Okay, I am officially live. Hi, guys. I'm not sure how many people are joining us or me today, I suppose, but I figured I would use this opportunity to answer whatever questions you guys have. I've also been receiving a lot of comments and questions for some of my videos, and I figured this would be a good opportunity to just answer any questions or anything you guys basically have about me. Let me see. Before we do get started, you can, if you're here, say hi in the chat, please, so we know you're out there. Hello. Hi, everyone. Okay, so I have a few people. I'm just waiting to see if more people want to join. But oh my God, thank you so much for the people that are here. Hi, guys. If people just want to wave and send all your messages saying hi to everyone, that would be great. It's so nice to be here. I thought I would do a live session today instead of doing video. I've kind of been traveling a lot, so I haven't really had time to do any videos, but I thought maybe I'll do a live session, answer any questions that you guys have. If you have any current projects you're working on and you just want me to kind of help or anything, or any of my tutorials that you just want to see or anything like that. So this is what this session is for. Hi, Marcia. Show me Chris B. Living like Mar. Hi, guys. Hi. So I'm basically just here. If you guys have anything you want to just ask or tell me, or whatever information you would like to know, feel free to just type your questions below. And I'm also going to be sifting through some of my comments on my videos just to see if I can answer any questions here specifically regarding something that you guys might be interested in. Or basically any fabric questions, material questions. Yeah. Hi. If you're just joining us, hello. Hi, everyone. Okay, so I just got a question from I'm going to say Jocelyn King, I think. Do I work with Ponte fabric? I believe that's like a knit fabric. I did work with that fabric when I made my. I believe that video was the joggers or the tracksuit or track pants video. That's the fabric. That's the video I used that fabric for. So it's a nice, really heavyweight stretch knit fabric that I like a lot. So you can really use that to do a lot of things. Is there anything specific you wanted to use the Ponte Roma fabric for? That question is for King. But yeah, any other questions you guys have, please type below. Oh, okay, so you do want to use that for a shirt. I wouldn't necessarily, well, that would probably be like a strap, maybe. Yeah, I don't think that would probably work for a button up or anything like that, but a regular jersey knit shirt, the Ponte Roma fabric should be fine. Okay, a question from Living Like Mar. Not, how did you get into making clothes? I basically started making clothes when I was like when I was like 10, I believe, but I did go to a design and fashion school, and that's really when I learned how to, sew properly and stuff like that. But I don't believe you really need like a design background to like learn and make clothes. But if it's something that you really like, you can just, buy a sewing machine off of Amazon or something and just really teach yourself. And, there are a bunch of courses online that you can learn how to sew, and just do like little tutorials and little things here and there. I hope that answered your question. How did I get into making clothes? I just love making clothes, really. I love making clothes. I love being a designer, and I love like, sharing that knowledge with people. And it's like, if I can show people how to make something for like less than what you would pay for it at the store, I think that's a like really good thing. Do I consider myself a fashion designer? That's like a really hard title for, honestly, like when people call me that, because I guess fashion design can be described in different ways of being a fashion designer. I wouldn't really say I like, have a collection or anything, but in some way, I guess if you look at it in a literal term, someone that's like into fashion and is a designer, I guess, yes, I would consider myself a fashion designer. But it's like kind of an odd, yeah, word for me to use. Yeah, if that answers your question. Hi guys, if you're just joining us, feel free to, type your questions or anything you might have. I'm answering everything, no limits. Just, yeah. Marcia, I'm learning to sew. Can you do some fly sewing sessions? Okay, I'm not really sure what fly sewing session means, but I'm assuming you're asking for some sewing sessions in general. Yeah, I mean, definitely I'm open to, doing some kind of sewing tutorials, or maybe like super basic, like beginner sewing classes and courses like that. But I'm really looking for you guys to let me know the kind of content that you want me to provide for you. And because literally the way I kind of come up with all my stuff, it's like, okay, what do I want to do this week? Or what would be the trend that everyone would, like to DIY and will cost them less. But if you guys are really open to me doing beginner classes for people that are just getting into sewing, that's something that I'm, yeah, definitely open to. Do I sketch out my clothes? It depends on exactly what I'm making. I guess looking at like when I do a tutorial from beginning to end, I kind of have to figure out exactly like the step by step, just because I'm shooting every step. So, and it's also because I want you guys to understand every single step. So I wouldn't necessarily say I sketch out my clothes, more like I just sketch out like the scenes and the necessarily steps that I want you guys to see to achieve your desired garments or designs. Have I ever done a vest by hand? Like actually made a vest by hand, like a actual vest by hand? I wouldn't say. I used to do a lot of hand sewing like when I was much younger, but now most of the sewing I do is on the machine. I do have, as you guys see, I have the Juki machine, and I also have a home sewing machine. I know a lot of people ask me like, oh, do you need to get like the industrial big sewing machine, but I wouldn't necessarily think so because you can honestly do a lot with even the home sewing machine as well. So that's a really good question. I've never made a vest by hand, but sewing machine, yes, definitely. What are some of the projects that you guys are working on now? I'm really curious to see if anyone is kind of stuck or anyone kind of has any questions, anyone has any just tidbits that they want to know about sewing in general, and like things that you can do to just like help your sewing process, or if you have a sewing process, do you sew every week, do you sew every day, like how do you guys tack on some of the projects, and like how do you sew for yourself, do you sew for people, do you sew for your family, like I'm really curious to see what you guys think about that. And yeah, if you guys have any more questions for me. Um, I'm also scrolling through some of my comments right now just to see if I can answer some of them here live. But thanks so much for joining me today. Uh, this is not really, I don't really do a lot of live session, but I thought it would be a nice idea, at least today. Um, I also wanted to confirm, which is what I should have done. I don't know if you guys can really hear me. If you can, just shoot me a yes, 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 just to confirm. I'm also curious for you guys to let me know what are some of the things that are working for you in terms of like my videos, and what are the things you like to see, and if you have any feedback, or I would like to see more of this in the video, I would like to see more of that. um, Rita, thanks for joining us, Rita. You're a beginner in sewing, and you what motivated me to love to sew. I would say that's. I mean, I've always had kind of the fashion background. When I was like 10, I loved sewing. I would like mess around with my on sewing machine, and just really loved like putting things together and just seeing how they come apart and basically bringing them back together. I love designing. I love creating like shapes and things that are just very, very aesthetically pleasing to the eyes. And I feel like when you create something that you really like, especially when it's like custom fit for you and your style and your color and everything, it just makes you feel so much better, I think. So that's why I'm really into like custom designs, and I really encourage people to, just not buy things off the rack. I mean, you can too, but it's always nice to at least, sew and just, yeah, design things that you actually love instead of just waiting for it to be produced, if that makes sense. Um, yeah, that was a good question, Rita. Uh, I know someone asked in the question in my comments, like, what are some of my favorite fabrics to also work with? I'm a big fan of like anything knit, because knit is like the best thing in the world. Like anything knit, I love a lot of like cotton. And if you've probably seen some of my videos, I do tend to use like some satin and stuff like that a lot, because I love the shine of those fabrics. Anything that's like lightweight and airy, I love fabrics like that. Yeah, I'm curious to also think. Hi guys, anyone that's dropping in, just wave in or say hi if you have any questions, or you just want to leave some comments. Definitely open to those as well. um Sipping through my comments. You guys have been so great, honestly. Like I just get so much positive feedback from you guys, and it makes me want to just like think outside the box and really create things that you guys can actually like make. Um, yeah, I'm looking through my comments right now. Uh, I've also seen a lot of people have been making the circle skirt video, which is like amazing to me. Some of you have been tagging me on Instagram, which is like just great. Miss Felicia, I'm glad you're back. You're in great shape. What's your secret? That's what's my secret? I've actually just been spending a lot of time like really focusing on myself, my health, and I've been back again. Like you said, I've been away for a long time just because it's also hard balancing like a full-time job and doing YouTube at the same time. But you kind of go back and off. But I feel like I'm steady now. Hopefully, I'm here to stay. Miss Felicia, I wouldn't say I have a secret. Just really doing the things that you like, and hitting the gym once in a while. Hi, Alex. Hi, Alex. Waving back to Carmen. I do see your message, but unfortunately, I do not understand Spanish. Um, but thank God for Google Translate, so I can definitely semi-translate your message. I'm also curious, like, what are some of your your favorite videos so far? Have you guys actually made any DIYs? Like, was anything really hard for you? Um, Sifting through any of my videos, like, did you get stuck somewhere? Um, yeah, I'm curious to see any questions that you guys have. All the positive feedback I've been receiving, so great. I'm happy. Sometimes I do tend, like, I'm a little animated. I'm happy that you guys are able to at least follow the videos, and they're very instructive for you. I've had feedback from people making outfits for their kids and their husbands, and hi, and their family as well, which is so nice. Yeah. So, are there any projects or anything that anyone is currently working on? Would I ever create any men's clothing? I did start men's clothing about a few years ago, just like dabbled a little bit in it. It's not, I wouldn't really say it's my strongest like part, because I just know the women's body, like a woman's body, so much better. But I'm definitely trying to do a lot of like male content now. Just because you got to get some of that out there. But again, if I have any male viewers, I think probably 75% of my viewers are female. But if I have any male viewers that want to see anything specific that you want to like, there's specific to men's clothing, I'm open to that. As long as I know how to make it, I'll definitely be able to create a video for you guys as well. I'm making a circle skirt now. I've cut everything out, about to try the panels. I hope it turns out great. That's amazing. Orange Sky 128964. Yeah, I'm curious to see how your circle skirt is going to come out. Everything has been cut out. Now it's just the time to sew. I always feel like I feel like the cutting process is like the most brutal process to me. Like everything, when I've just like cut out and drafted everything out, and then the sewing is just like so easy from there. But I feel like the cutting process is the hardest. But I'm curious to see what you guys think. If you would rather the cutting process is easier than the actual sewing process. Yeah, ready to learn anything from men's to kids to, I'm totally open to creating any tutorials for you guys regarding that. Miss your easy tutorials, made the circle skirt by watching you. Yay, Joy. Oh my God. It's so funny. Like a lot of you guys are actually making this, but I don't see any of them. A few of you tagged me on Instagram, or you can even like just put a shout out here just to see that I know, you are actually making. And if you have any questions, if you hit a snag or anything while you're making the circle skirt, let me know. You do miss my easy tutorials. Yeah, a lot of the things I've been doing now are complicated, aren't they? They're really, really long. Trust me, it's like even brutal recording the long ones, but it's like a design I have in my head and I just want to like see it through. I don't start my videos like this is going to be a 24-minute video. But I'm always really, really happy with the result. I'll tell you that. But no, I'm really trying to come up with a lot of like just easy, quick tutorials for you guys. But if anything specific you want to see, just let me know. Miss Felicia, I hate cut out. Yeah. You do hate cutting out the pattern as well. Yeah. So the cutting process is kind of just hard. Like when it comes to the sewing, like that's so much easier for me. You can knock that out boom, like quickly, but cutting and actually like drafting and the whole pattern creation is like, yeah, it's not really the best part of sewing for me. But other than that, I still love sewing. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go back to some comments. Some comments. Mm. Oh, I did have a question from someone that says they tend to try on dresses and get someone to help them adjust the pins just so make sure they fit. Is this a sensible method? Uh, I mean, either way, I do know like some of my like they're DIYs. They're not gonna be like specifically like custom to your body. So sometimes I would encourage like if you can like try. I would even say during my videos, I'm like try on the outfit like midway so you can see like, oh, what can I take in here? What can I take in here? Because we all have different body types and things like that. So it's I always like to like as I'm making something in the process, I'm like trying it on like, oh, maybe I can still shorten it a little bit more because you just never know how it's going to like hang on your specific body type. So to answer that question, it is a sensible method to sometimes pin, and somebody or a partner or a friend can definitely just adjust and mark those things if you're not able to reach, especially when you're sewing by yourself. It's really hard. Have you done a can you do an easy wrap skirt? That's actually a highly requested tutorial, a wrap skirt or a wrap dress. That's I can definitely do those things, but again, like I do understand like those videos are going to be a little longer, and then for some of you guys that are asking for easy tutorial, it has to be somewhat of like a balance. So that's definitely in the works, a wrap skirt or a wrap dress. I think that would actually be a nice fall look. So yeah, I can definitely do a tutorial for something like that. Miss Felicia, Vogue patterns intimidate me. I had a great jumpsuit tutorial for a Vogue pattern. Yeah, Vogue patterns can be quite a lot, actually. I do have a few videos with the Vogue patterns of some of the designs I liked. What I do find that helps with Vogue patterns is actually really studying the paper, the instructions that they give you in the actual pattern packet, really studying it and understanding the step by step. Like I think they're really detailed with the tutorials or with the sheet in the actual pattern. So what I've noted or what has helped me in tackling Vogue patterns is basically like going step by step. Don't skip anything, because sometimes as a designer you're like, I don't really need this piece or I don't really need that piece. And it's always nice to like see your garment and then figure out what exactly you need from the Vogue pattern or from the Vogue pattern sets. But that's a good question. Vogue patterns are very intimidating. Sometimes I see like this beautiful style and they have like 30 patterns and I'm like, oh my god, this is so hard to keep track of. But what I've noticed is if you really do follow that specific sheet they give you, like step by step, it's not as hard. And they also have different levels of difficulty. So you have like the easy ones and the hard ones, and the hard ones are often they do take a lot of time and a lot of patience. So again, sewing in general requires a lot of patience. So it's like if you're getting super frustrated or something, it's easier to step away or take an hour break and always come back. Some of my videos, I always get like really frustrated, whether it's a seam I have to like rip 3 times or I'm sewing something like the wrong way. And I'm like, you know what? I just have to like step away and I will come back to this. So that would definitely be my advice. But I don't think it's something that really should intimidate you. If it's a design that you love, like I think just go for it. If it doesn't work out, you know what? It wouldn't be the end of the world. But there are definitely a lot of patterns out there that I would encourage you guys to even try. And a good thing about that too is you can learn new like tricks and techniques. Like some of the Vogue patterns I look at, like I'm like, oh, I didn't know I can do this that way. So yeah, they do come in handy in that way. Hi D Sam, thanks for joining us. You guys are being so great. Oh my god. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna keep scrolling through some of our comments here. Feel free to shoot me anything, if any projects you guys are working on, if you're stuck or if you have any questions in general. What are some of your favorite videos so far from start to finish? And I know some of you said you're making the circle skirt right now. Has anyone actually like made a garment from start to finish and without any hiccups? I'm curious. Because when I do create my videos, I literally like put myself in your shoes. Like, okay, if I was watching this video back, would I actually understand what she's talking about? So yeah, I'm very curious if you guys have actually made anything else. One of my videos that, I mean, the biggest video so far that I think that everyone like really liked. Oh, the circle skirt was a big one, and the taking in even the waist or even the alterations. Alterations is actually a big part of what I do as well. I'm not really sure if you guys are into alterations, but just little things like taking in the waist or taking in the sides or even shortening your pants. I noticed that that's like probably 80% of the question that people come up, oh, how do I shorten my pants? And I'm like, I literally have a video for that. So I'm curious to see if anyone has put in a button or things like that. I'm very curious. Yeah. Anyway, okay. Yeah, so any other questions you guys have for me? Also, like, I've been watching some of the trends lately. I know the recent video I did was on the DIY slip dress, and that was a big trend. So most of my designs I've actually been focusing on a lot of like the trends that are going on. But if you guys see anything, just like one of you suggested the wrap dresses as well. Do I have any alteration videos for petite clothes, quick tricks for shortening tops? I do have a video, I believe, for shortening the hem of some pants and alteration video for a blazer. But I'm curious to see quick trips for shortening tops. Like if you wanted to shorten something for like a crop top, is that what you're saying? But that's definitely, I can definitely probably do maybe a 5 minute or 10 minute quick tips on like some alterations of quick alterations that you guys can do, if that's the question, Paula. Yeah, I believe. Yeah. Um, you're asking, but I do have some alteration videos, but they're mostly for just taking in the waist and the pants or shortening the hem, or if you wanted to taper the leg of your pants or take in the blazer or the sides or just little alterations like that. Um, yeah. But yeah, I'm always like looking for something like fun to do at the shoulders. Okay, Paula, at the shoulder straps or center neck. Okay, so you're just basically talking about like just okay, quick alterations. So most of the time, I always find that alterations like if definitely like picking it up from like the seam. Like if you wanted to take in something at the side, like you would probably take it here at the seam, or if you wanted something to come up more, you would take it at the shoulders, or I'm not really sure in terms of like center of the neck, but like if you wanted to like take something up, it would be like just taking it up at the shoulders, or make something tighter, it would be like taking it up at the side, making something shorter, just folding it up and like doing a quick top stitch would be good. um yeah, I'm curious, does everyone actually have a sewing machine, and what kind of sewing machines do you guys have? Like, do you guys have industrial sewing machines? Are you guys like, have the home ones with all the fun different threads you can use and stuff like that? Do you guys have to like create any cool fun projects with your home sewing machines? um do you guys have a serger? I'm pretty sure some of you probably have a whole setup. Like, I don't even I don't know. Yeah, so I'm curious, what kind of machines are you guys using? um do you guys have like an iron specifically that you use? Sewing needs knits scare you? What tips do you have? I have a brother sewing machine. Okay, sewing knits. Yeah, sewing knits can be actually quite well, I wouldn't say terrifying, but I love sewing. It's tips and tricks for sewing. I would definitely say, especially for someone that has a home sewing machine, there's not really much you can do about like changing needle wise, but just with someone that sews with a home sewing machine, I'll probably just say in terms of like maybe just like relieving the tension a little bit. So the tension on your sewing machine shouldn't be as like hard as you would be sewing like a cotton fabric. And it really is just again pacing yourself, like maybe not just sewing as fast as you would when you're sewing a basic knit fabric, or even using, since you have the home sewing machine, they have like the zigzag stitches, kind of just gives you that extra reinforcement that you need for a knit fabric as well. um Paula has an old basic, it's still fun. Yeah, I mean the old machines. I have three sewing machines. Like one of them, I probably got them for $40. It's like really, really old, but I just can't stomach to throw it away. I can't throw it away. You also have a Singer that's really simple. Um, what is the best sewing machine you would recommend? I wouldn't really say there's like the best sewing machine out there. It just depends on like the volume of work that you do specifically. Since I sew like a lot, and sometimes like sewing things like heavyweight fabrics, that's why I decided to get my industrial Juki machine. But if you're just someone that like sews for yourself and for your family and for your kids, like a home sewing machine is probably the best. Brothers have like an amazing selection, Singers as well. I don't really think it's like a thing where it's like, okay, this is necessarily better than the other. It really is just about preferences. And they all have these like really cool stitches that you can use, and different even feeds. Like if you wanted to sew ruffles on your shirt, if you wanted to do a pleat, if you wanted to do some tucks, or like just a lot of decorative stuff. So a lot of you guys actually have a brother, which is the home sewing machine that I have as well. Um, Joy said, I made an A-line skirt that was too big, ripped out at the waistband, stitched it back, and it ended up tight. Okay. Okay, well, I would probably say you made an A-line skirt that was okay. So it was too big. You took out the waistband and you stitched it back, and then it ended up being tight. So basically, now I would probably say you might want to put the elastic back in, but shorten the elastic. So then you still have that extra stretch, but then it's not too big. So I don't know if you actually cut the fabric, Joy, but I hope you did not, since you said you just ripped out the waistband or the elastic. But all you have to do, again, is just shorten the elastic, and that would give you a nice narrow waist, and it would still be big enough to fit you. Uh, I have put hidden zippers on my work shirts so I don't have button on them. Winning. Interesting. That's a creative way of doing that. Interesting. Putting hidden zippers on your work shirt. And yeah, and I don't know, I do have a full video showing you guys how to put in the invisible zippers as well. And they're really, really hidden and nice, very simple, which is my favorite kind of zipper to use. Miss Felicia, you have two sewing machines. That's nice. And they work great. They do sew, and you prefer new look patterns. Absolutely. Yeah. So I wouldn't necessarily say there's like a specific machine that, what, like this is just the, and it really just depends on the kind of work that you do, the kind of volume of work that you do. If you're really into like quilting and doing a lot of knitting stuff, then I would recommend you get specific machine that does that, because that's like kind of what well, the kind of fabrics that you're working with. But for me, that I do work with a different range of fabrics. I'm working with like really heavy fabric, like upholstery fabric. That's why I use the industrial Juki, which is linked in all my videos, I believe. Yeah. But yeah, I'm so glad. Oh my God, some of you guys really have great equipment to work with. And like, I know some of you guys also asked me like, how did I get into sewing? I would love to hear from you guys how you guys got into sewing and why you sew in general. Like, some of you said you use the patterns, and I know you said some of you have been using hidden zippers instead of putting on buttons on your work shirt, which is like really creative, if you ask me. Yeah, why did some of you even start sewing in general? And like, what do you use sewing for? I mean, for me, sewing is kind of like a release. Like, I love creating, and I just love sharing new ideas with you guys. But I'm curious to see why you guys sew. I also have a comment here from one of my videos. taking in the jeans, like I was said, alterations took you 20 to 30 minutes. Yeah. Hmm. Honestly, like a lot of the questions I have, hi, Mini. Nice. Thank you for joining us. Just say hi. And if you have any questions or anything or projects that you're currently working on, feel free to ask me. Um, just dishing out all the advices. Okay. Dee has always wanted to sew for herself. She's had bad experiences with tailors and she went to sewing classes. So what was that like for you, Dee? I'm curious, like going to sewing classes, like would you guys you understanding how to sew, or are you more of like a physical, you rather go in and somebody like teach you like physically? Okay. And Paula, my mother talked to me to have to fix my clothes after I buy them because I'm short and small. Yeah, a lot of people that actually even sew a lot of their clothes, it's because we can't necessarily find these things off the rack. I know for me specifically, just because of my body type, like I would buy pants, they never fit, so I just really just, you know what, I'm just gonna start making my own pants. And trust me, it's so much better because you do tend to like you design, you go to the store, and the whole process is kind of exhilarating for some people. But yeah, I had having bad experiences with tailors. Yeah, tailors can be a hit or miss because there's only so much you can really describe what you're looking for to a tailor. Like, yes, I wanted to look this way, I wanted to look this way, but then things happen. I've definitely worked in like alteration facilities where I've worked with clients, and like they wanted a specific way, and you know what, it just doesn't come out that way. And that's why it's always better when you just know how to do it yourself, because you know what's best for you. My mother was a professional seamstress, and I helped her to sew. I loved to sew, but took a break from it for many years. My goal is to sew all my clothes and stop buying ready to wear. That is a great achievement. Like I can't even fathom that. I mean, I have a ton of videos from things I've made, and I still buy clothes off the rack. I mean, not as often as I used to, but yeah, that's definitely a goal that I want to be able to even get on that level actually, and just make all my clothes like from scratch. For Dee, she was taught physically, and you can draft patterns as well in the classes you take. That's really great. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, for Felicia, like you said, that's definitely a goal for me. Like, if I can just imagine, if you just like could make everything in your closet. I mean, it's just sometimes you do have to take breaks between. Yeah, like you said, you took breaks from it for a couple of years. Sometimes it can be like a lot because you feel like you're on. I know for me, like just maybe because I'm making videos for you guys, I always feel like I'm on this like tight deadline, and I have to like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and it tends to start feeling like a job instead of me actually just like creating and liking what I'm actually making. So sometimes, a break, yeah, sometimes a break is deserved. A break is nice. Um, Oh, and Joy, yes. So you said the skirt didn't have any elastic, but you wore it yesterday and the fabric has a little stretch. I would say, like, you did take the waistband itself off. You can definitely just go actually put in an elastic in there if it is that tight. So it does give you that extra stretch that you're looking for. Um, and D, yes, working with tailors can be a lot. The clothes weren't sewn on time. I mean, in general, it's like when you do have to, ask people to do specific projects and you're depending on like a time frame from someone else, it's always something that you have to deal with. For Paula, I did make my own clothes for a while, but ended up fixing and helping others to fix their clothes too. Yes, petite fashion is grown and it's expensive. Definitely. It's nice, when you're able to like help people like fix their clothes, especially like I mean, different people just have different body types. Like it's just it's so hard. Like, even when I make some of the things that I make, I'm like, okay, put this here, put this here. I'm like, I'm sure yes, it might work for me, but I'm sure it's gonna like work or be different for everybody else. So when it boils down to it, nobody really knows what you like more than yourself. And like Paula said, petite fashion has grown and it is expensive, for people that have, skinnier body, like just are a little on the smaller side, and for people that are a little bit on the plus side of things, like it's hard balancing those two and finding clothes or designers that you would actually even love that fit you, that you would want to wear, except you have to like take it here and take it here and take it here. And all that work, sometimes it can just be a little too much. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. A little tuck here and there helps the look. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm loving this. Oh my God. Definitely. So, are there any future projects you guys are like really? Is there anything specifically that what if you made would just like just just um something that you would be proud of yourself, or something that you've been really looking forward to, like, what, I would really love to make this one day. I'm curious if there's anything on your sewing list. Yes. And do you guys have a sewing list? Like, is there a sewing, do you guys have a sewing list? Like, what, someday I want to be able to make a wrap skirt or a wrap dress, or I want to be able to make overalls or something like that. I'm curious. Changing. Teresa, I'm a beginner and I really suck at measuring. How can I get better? Measuring. That's a good thing. I would say you need to practice on someone, obviously, for measure. Never measure yourself. That's just, don't ever do that. Someone actually has to measure you. At measuring, I would say there are like a standard amount of there's standard measurements that you do like have to have with whatever garment you're creating. But what I do like is, like, if you have that visual or whatever garment you're trying to create, perhaps it's a dress, so that you need measurement like your bust, your shoulders, and things like that. There are a lot of videos out there that actually shows you how to measure, but now that you suggested it, I didn't really think that this was an issue that people had. It's definitely a video that I can create to show you how to specifically and correctly measure, so you can get the right measurements for your outfits. But that's a great thing, and I will actually write that down. Definitely a video that I can do to show you guys how to properly measure your shoulders, your bust, like your neck to waist, and even just like sewing terminologies. I know sometimes I'm like, your highest hip point and things like that, your under bust. Like, I do understand that some of you are like really, really beginners, and you're like, what the hell is under bust measure? Like, I can definitely understand that. So I'm Teresa. I got you. I will do a measuring video just to show you, and so you can keep practicing and getting better at it. And like I said, once you're practicing on people, and again, whatever design you have in mind, you kind of know the measurements you also need. For Mimi, do you have any tips on enjoying the process of sewing more? I'm a beginner. I've made a few items. I'm so happy to finish them, but during the process, it would take some time and get anxiety over mistakes. Oh, absolutely. Like, I feel like even someone that's seamstress or a tailor or whatever, they'll tell you it's not as easy. Like, creating it, and when you're done with it, it's so rewarding, but the process itself can be sometimes just like, I wouldn't say exhausting, but a little frustrating, just because you're literally creating something from scratch. This is your ideas. You're the one that kind of knows like what's happening here, what pieces, especially if there's like just so many pieces to the garment. But a good way that I would say is like pick a day, that, what, I have maybe 4 or 5 hours that I want to dedicate to this. And between those 5 hours, I'm going to use 2 hours to do this. I'm going to take a break to do something I really like, whether it's just going outside and getting some sun, or maybe just pausing and watching like an episode of Family Guy or just a funny show or something. And then, coming back to it. Also, what I like is like when I'm sewing, I like put something on like a funny show. So I'm not necessarily like focus intensely on what I'm doing, but I'm still allowing my mind to like wander off and think of cool things that I want to do later. And it doesn't necessarily just like tie me down into that like sewing process. And another tip I would probably say, also enjoying the sewing process, is like, don't be too bogged down on the I guess creating the actual garment. Like, you're focused on like, oh, I have to put this pattern here, this pattern here. It's more like it's your design. Like, you can change it at any point if you want anything to go a different way. And even though it's like not working, or something is this, something is that, it's like, it's that's going to happen regardless, but then it's you just telling yourself like, okay, I just need this break and I want to just step away and to come back to it. And I would also say, like, find your reason, like why you're even making the garment in the first place. Like, okay, do you want to be able to, show your family or something that, what, I can do this and this is a nice color, or are you doing this for yourself? So I would say, just coming to terms that finding the reason specifically for why you want to make this, and taking breaks, like giving yourself, nobody's on a deadline. You can you can sew this outfit in a month. Like, nobody's rushing you to go anywhere. It's your design. Take your time and just let that creativity like just flow out of you, and it should help with the sewing process a lot better. And don't take too much on at the same time. Like, just take specific projects, and if you can't figure it out, take some time and just come back to it. um Orange Sky, I want to get good. That's great, honestly. Some people have actually requested some prom tutorials for me, but I don't believe I have enough of an audience to do a prom tutorial. But if that's something that, hey, you guys are looking for, I'm definitely open to doing that as well. And hopefully I'll still be around to actually see your daughter's dress as well for prom. Uh, Felicia, she does have a sewing list. She wants to make a fall jacket, jeans, and a suit, and I'm looking for fabric. Wow, okay, so I can see some of you do have sewing lists. A fall jacket and jeans and a suit. A fall jacket would be just, it would be great. Actually, it's definitely a video I was also thinking of doing for fall as well. And I believe I actually maybe have a couple of maybe jacket or vest tutorials. So if you're looking for any tips, you can definitely just skim through those videos to help you with your fall jacket. Or if there are any questions, make sure you can ask me in the comments so I can help you achieve your sewing list. I do have a sewing list as well. I mean, obviously I have to have a sewing list just because creating a list of content to show you guys. But a fall jacket, that's a really, really good list. That's a good list. And the suit, a suit is, yeah, I remember when I first made my first suit. That was, I mean, a lot did go into it, so that was a lot. But Felicia, would you be using a Vogue pattern for your suit, or are you just gonna start and drape that from scratch? I'm curious. Um, for Teresa, I always measure myself, but it's never good. So yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, never measure yourself, because you're measuring yourself. You're basically supposed to have your body kind of just standing upright and your arms to the side, and letting somebody actually take those measurements for you. Because if you're moving your body, then an inch is going to be off here, an inch, and then the dress or outfit could end up being like too tight or just too loose. So definitely have someone take your measurements for you. And then I kind of, or because I make my clothes, I have my measurements already in my head. And obviously if I put on a few pounds here and there, I'm able to kind of adjust that as well. So I would always say, let someone measure you and do not measure yourself. How do you fix the space at the small of your back, that extra fabric there? Um, for Joy, how do I fix the space at the small of my back? Like, specifically when you're talking about in terms of a dress or pants, or what exact outfit are you talking about? Um, and Felicia has the same problem. Yeah, could you elaborate what do you mean the small of your back, specifically when you have a dress or a pant? Or, and Mimi, can you give tips to putting together a blouse, and how is blouse construction different from pants construction? Okay, tips to get it put in a blouse. It depends on the blouse you're making. Again, do you have patterns? I would probably say, like, start with the body. I always like to kind of start with the body of the garment first, and then working out to the extra things. Like, you start with the body first, and then working out to, like, whether you have sleeves or you're putting extra decorations, and then you're coming to the hem. And also, like, I'm really big on finishes, so there are a lot of like ways for you to finish so many things. Like, even if it's just the edge of the blouse, if you want to put a facing, or like some of the finishes I just did for my recent DIY slip dress tutorial. Different finishes, different things, but there's different tips for putting that. And what is so different from that from pants construction? Pants construction, literally, I mean, there's a blouse and there's pants. I feel like pants are actually really easy to sew. The only thing is you just have to be mindful of the crotch area, because that's really where the fit of the pant goes. So just be mindful of like the crotch area, whether you want to put in some darts, or or no darts. Blouse, you can probably get away with not putting a dart because that's not a tight fitted garment. That's a loose fitted garment. But that would be the difference between the construction of those two. Uh, any tips else for putting, again, like I said, just working specifically with the body, especially like the actual front and back bodies first, and then gravitating towards like putting on sleeves and things like that, or finishes, or like a hem or a peplum, or depending on the style of blouse that you have. Following up with Felicia's question, you do have a Vogue pattern for the suit and the jacket for, yeah. So I would say you're the one, like I would say definitely recommend you to take the Vogue pattern and just kind of walk through each step, like step by step. And if you have any questions or anything, you could definitely just shoot that out to me. And Joy, you were talking about in terms of a dress above the waist, like you do have that. So that's kind of a, I wouldn't really say it's a body type thing, but it is a body type thing, especially for women. They do have like kind of a little bit of an elevated backside. I'm not sure if that's the kind of women that you guys are, but I would say that's definitely a thing. But a good way to kind of eliminate that would be putting like darts down the back right here. That should help eliminate some of that like the hole or the space that you guys are talking about when you make dresses. That should definitely help eliminate it. But that's mostly just a body type thing for people, especially that have kind of a more of a curvy back. So I would say princess darts will help taper it a little more, or even like just doing coming in a little bit more on your waist. If you guys have smaller waist compared to your bottom, coming in a little bit more on the waist, or putting some princess darts at the back of your dress, or yeah, you can't change our body type. So little fixes here and there should definitely help you get rid of that gap, if that answered your question. Uh, yeah, it did. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. I've been on here for about an hour now. So ask me whatever questions left. I will be here for another 5 minutes. It's so nice to have it's so nice to have you guys here and just, chit chatting. And I'm really just curious to see all your tutorials, like everything that you guys are making. A lot of you shoot me and tell me you're making them, but I just never, you know, see them. But I do hope they're, they look great and you love all the things you're making. You love your ideas, and yeah, and yeah, I definitely sketch as well, sketch some of my, just putting all your thoughts to paper, because sometimes I know I'm a kind of person, I would like have a really cool idea, I'm like, I don't even know how to make this. So it's like really just separating, like, okay, a seam is gonna go here and a seam is gonna go here, and this is the measurement I need, and I need my bust, my shoulders, and just specifically going back to what Teresa, like measuring and things like that, like outlining all, like, okay, I need shoulders, I make sure to have my shoulder to waist, or shoulder to bust, or neck to bust, or neck to waist, or things like my waist, just having all those measurements. Do I have any suggestions for an elastic waist wool pants pattern and a mandarin collar tunic top? For elastic waist wool pants pattern. Okay. So maybe could you elaborate on your question? Do you have any suggestions for an elastic waist wool pant pattern and a mandarin collar? Just, I guess, back, if I'm understanding your question, back to the Felicia, how she uses Vogue patterns. Vogue patterns actually, I'm pretty sure, have something in that direction with the mandarin collar tunic top. And I think I actually had a tutorial with this DIY drape top. It's longer. It's like a long drape top. And I think it did have also a mandarin collar. So, but Vogue patterns definitely have probably what you're looking for. And I'm not sure if any of you actually also have mannequins and stuff like that. Draping is also a big thing. So if it's something like you want to learn and you don't really want to use a Vogue pattern, you could definitely just use like a piece of muslin from some of the tutorials that I've actually done, showing you how to like drape this mandarin collar tunic top, or whatever specific thing you do want to make. Where do I buy my fabrics? I buy my fabrics from anywhere. There are a lot of fabrics There's fabrics.com online, there's Mood, there's Joanne, there's local here. There's a lot of also local fabric stores around that I get my fabric, but I try to get my fabrics at places that you guys can get those fabrics. That's why I'm always going to places that are very like commercial and online, like fabric.com or mood.com or Joanne's, so I know that you guys can actually get those fabrics, because if I go to a local one here, you're probably not going to have access to those kinds of fabrics. And draping. Yeah, I mean, yes, some of my videos do actually have draping, but now I'm beginning to realize that, a lot of my viewers are beginners. So I can definitely do like a quick intro to draping tutorial for you guys, and an intro. I'm writing all this stuff down, and an intro to measuring. An intro to draping, an intro to measuring, an intro to, this would be the time to just tell me introduction to anything really for any of the beginners or any of my beginner viewers. Introduction to measurement, introduction to draping, or just pattern making in general, I'm sure. Um, but yeah, draping. I do any of you actually have mannequins or things that you the mannequins or bodies that you drape on? Do any of you actually have those, or you just, how do you guys start your making process? Does anyone actually drape any of their fabrics on the fabric form or on the body form, or do you guys just wing it and just start cutting? I'm really curious. But with that being said, while you guys answer that, I will probably tutorials, introduction to pattern making, just probably a lot of like even introduction to some of the terminologies, like in terms using to sew or in measuring, and just following the right guide. Yeah. Uh, I don't think I have any more questions specifically for you guys, but you have me on here for the next 4 minutes. So if there's anything really that you would like to see, or future projects, or any personal questions, uh, yeah, or any trends that you're seeing lately too that you think that might be nice for you, or if you think, uh, I'm really curious as well. Apollo, you've used patterns and old clothes as patterns. Yes, and cloning your clothes is such a big thing. Like you guys can see most of my videos like show you how to actually like clone some of the clothes that you already have. Especially I know when it's like when I find a pant that just like fits really great, like I literally just clone that pant for almost everything. So it's a way also, like, I mean, I can't really start from like start like scratch for you guys. I can't show you the draping process and drafting. That's like a full on hour video, which I'm really like honest. I'm open to doing. I just know that it would probably have to be maybe a sewing course or something that one of you guys suggested earlier. Um, and Mimi, you're a beginner. I would rather make pants with an elastic waist, and I wanted to make for upcoming winter. I know different patterns have required different fabrics. Was looking for a wide pant leg. Yeah, definitely. Wide pants with elastic waist is, I mean, it's the go-to. You can definitely, that's even easier to make, to be honest, when it's something has an elastic waist, so you're not really worrying about the darts. Different patterns do require different fabrics, and like you said, you want to do something for the winter, so I would be assuming it would be something a little like heavier, just a heavyweight fabric. And you never know, like plaid is probably a good winter wide leg pant for you to use, but that, yeah, it would have to be something a little heavier. Yeah. uh And Felicia, explain the finished garment size, why it always does not work out. Could you expand that question? Like, what do you mean? Like when you finish sewing your garment, like why it doesn't always work out or fit? Is that your question, Felicia? Because I do believe like if you take the right measurements and you do everything, I guess, the way you're supposed to, your garment should come out looking the way you want it to look. But at the same time, you also have to consider that different people, different measurements. Like sometimes I do show you guys stuff like, oh, measure here, but I put it on. It does look great, but me, like specifically I might want it like tighter on my waist, and then that's when I go back and maybe just like take it in just a little bit more. So that's why I do encourage you guys, like, when you're sewing, like to actually be trying on the garment, like specifically when I've maybe made a pant and before I put in the zipper to actually close it up, I try it on to make sure that everything fits and I love the way it looks before I like start making any like solid or finished decisions. I hope that answered your question. You did confirm to say yes, that's what you meant. But if you follow everything step by step, again, and also not necessarily waiting till you've put in the zipper and you've finished all the hems and everything is like so nice and neat, then you try the dress or then you try the pants on. I probably wouldn't advise you to do that. You should probably, start. I tried on like I've sewn one stitch or I've sewn this seam and I'm like trying it on. Okay, like it fits. I don't have to add anything extra. Or and then okay, well it doesn't fit. Maybe I can cut a different back, and you're not just waiting to the end of the actual garment making process before you're like, oh my god, this is messed up and I have to start over. So I think that would be a good way to tackle that. But if you do follow everything by size, it should end up working out. It really should. I hope that answered your question. And with that being said, this was so great. I loved chatting with you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me here. Definitely gave me a lot of tons of ideas that I can do for you guys. It's just nice hearing what you guys are really looking for and your questions. I love hearing your feedback. Really great comments have been coming through now that I'm even back and showing you guys more stuff. I'm really excited. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, and it's just gonna be the sky's the limit from here. I got you, Teresa. All the yeah, again, like pattern making tutorials, draping tutorials, and just introduction to measurements. And I'm also curious, like a lot of beginner focused videos as well. I'm gonna do my research. Anything that you guys want to know or learn, please let me know. Thank you so much. It was just so great chatting with each and every one of you. Please, if you're not subscribed already, please make sure to hit the subscribe button. Some of you have already liked this live session, which is absolutely amazing. Again, for some of you that are currently working on any other project, if you reach any point where you're stuck, please shoot me a message. I got you. I would definitely reply those as well. And yeah, so thank you so much, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a lovely day. And I hope to catch you awesome Sew Addicts next week. Bye.